blaming America for the sin of slavery, but the truth is, throughout human history, slavery has existed, and America came along as the first country to end it within 150 years. And we get no credit for that to move forward and try and make good on that.
We did have a very bloody civil war
over that
and
issue.
We also and the remnants of the racial history, so the remnants of the Civil War, particularly blacks in the South.
Correct.
That was not an easy path. That was bloody and violent and deadly.
And there were Native Americans here when we showed up.
We're still. My point is that we were the country that decided to end it, and we're still dealing with the issue. But if you want to start a problem and to inflame racial tension even more, start blaming people who have nothing to do with slavery for the sin of slavery. That is not fair. That's not the American way, and we shouldn't be doing it.
Now, I wanted to talk about this because when I watched this, I took this as a threat. A lot of people will sit up here and say, oh, the precious little white woman, oh, she had nothing to do with it. She was just as oppressed, and she wasn't the one who was pushing slavery forward, even though white women own the most slaves, even though they were right there beside their man, beating the slaves. But for whatever reason, they've been painted as this little docile, little oppressed party within slavery. This is a Caucasian woman, and she is basically threatening people by saying, if you ask for reparations or push the issue for reparations because they see themselves as they are not any type of beneficiaries of slavery or anything that came out of it, start blaming people that have nothing to do with it, she said, that there's going to be a problem. So that was a threat. But she's so docile and feminine and soft. But there has been a movement, and some people call it ADOS. Even before ADOS, people have been talking about reparations for African American people who are the descendants of chattel slaves. There has been some issues with other people from different countries, or even on certain islands, like I'll say Haiti and Jamaica and South America, and people from Africa that says, when American Black people start focusing on just them, that leaves out everyone else. It doesn't, because there's a case for every country in Africa and all the people on the islands and the people in South America to make their claims on the land that they are living on and their ancestors built up against whatever European nation took advantage of them. We're talking the Dutch, we're talking Britain, we're talking, France. So there's claims to be made. This is not these people are trying to distance themselves from Black people in the diaspora. No, every Black person in the diaspora has a claim. And I believe here in America, it's just with the racial tensions and the hostility and martial law and the killing of Black people, it's just made us step up and say, we need to police our own neighborhoods. We need schools, because students are beating up children, and they are calling the police to beat up young Black children. Just being a part and integrated into this country the way that we are still being treated bad. And I think that's what this person is trying to pretend, like they don't understand that this push for reparations is because this nation has held Black people back, and we have been put in a position where we are consumers. We don't own anything. there are no black CEOs or anyone who has ownership over companies. They're very far and few in between, and celebrities do not count. And even with the celebrities, they do not represent the percentage of black people here in the United States of America. This fool, yes, I'm calling her a fool, Katie, she's a fool, is going to say, America doesn't get enough credit for ending slavery first. That's a lie. America did not end slavery first. That's a flat out lie. Another host on the show, she talked about the Civil War. And this is something that is irritating. And every time someone tries to bring up the Civil War, I will continue to say the Civil War had absolutely nothing to do with people growing a heart and wanting slavery to end. That's a lie. Abraham Lincoln would have done anything to resolve the conflict of the Union. If that conflict could have been solved by not releasing slaves, it still would have been slavery as we knew it then going on. There was an issue with, why would you hire poor white working people when you have an abundance of free working slaves? That's where the issue came from. That's why they wanted it ended, because they needed the money. They wanted the jobs, even though they really couldn't get out there in a tobacco field or a cotton field or anything and pick anything underneath that sun. There was an issue with, other things that, slaves were doing for free. And that is the whole thing with the North and the South. It's not one was better than the other. It's not one had a heart and one didn't. It was just a conflict among the dominant society. And slavery got abolished because of the needs of the poor white ones. Now, she was saying that it will inflame racial tensions, meaning that other Caucasian people are going to get mad because you cannot, under any circumstances, pay Black Americans reparations at all. The nerve. There are other things that happen even after slavery, and slavery did not end just because somebody said it was abolished. You can see that through the concentration camps that they had Black people in, where they would just have them working until they dropped dead. And that was men, women, and children. If anybody wants to look up the Devil's Punch Bowl, that's definitely one of them out of many. Not to mention the Jim Crow and the burning of so many Black towns during segregation. When they said they wanted to be segregated, we did separate, but they ended up burning the towns down. When they want integration, now they're taking advantage and they're holding us in economic chains now. And then they're trying to say it's a post-racial world because they put a biracial man in the White House. Are you kidding me? Like, people like this make my skin crawl. If you can't see how wicked and evil these people are, whether they're on the right or the left, whether they call themselves Democrat or Republican, because you have the Republicans and the Democrats singing the same goddamn song about how Bernie Sanders does not think that we should get reparations, and this conservative Katie does not think that we should get reparations. But these so-called moral high-standing people, they like to give themselves that label. They don't even believe in the Bible that they try and hide behind. Because trust and believe that she calls herself a conservative and she goes to church every Sunday. And then I guess she doesn't understand in the Bible where it says that the iniquities of the father or the sins of the father will be visited on their children to the third and fourth generation. I guess she didn't read that in the Bible. I wanted to go ahead and show where on Roland Martin, he basically pulled a tweet from a historian on the years between the independence of that nation and the abolishment of slavery.
I'm sorry. Y'all, this was a tweet that historian Kevin Cruz sent to little Katie Pavlich. Years between independence and the abolition of slavery. Haiti, 0. Costa Rica, 3. El Salvador, 3. Guatemala, 3. Honduras, 3. Chile, 5. Bolivia, 6. Uruguay, 8. Nicaragua, 17. Mexico, 19. Paraguay, 29. Colombia, 41. Venezuela, 43. Argentina, 45. Brazil, 66. USA, 87. Play her comment again, please.
Keep blaming America for the sin of slavery, but the truth is, throughout human history, slavery has existed, and America came along as the first country to end it within 150 years.
Now, when you look at that tweet, there are 15 other countries that abolished it before the United States. So that just shows that she's a liar. She doesn't know what she's saying. She's just pulling stuff out of her ass. And the real problem is that they don't want people that they can't control to have any type of economic freedom. Because you have certain people that are placed in certain places and are given money because they are controlled. If you look at the NFL, they are controlled. If you look at any sports arena, music, movies, the celebrities that they like to point to, they are controlled. When you look at politicians, they are controlled. But if you go giving certain black people money, and I'm not saying all, there are some regular black folks out here who are gone. Their mind is gone. They would not think about setting themselves up and their children up and doing anything productive or starting a business or getting more education or building with other black people. They would be out there, you know, with the Gucci and the Prada and the dumb shit. The very people who make pollywogs make fun of the fact that they put you into antebellum chattel slavery, and they're laughing about it. They are laughing at these celebrities that push these quote unquote high-end brands. But there are a lot more than you know, because we're so spread out. But there are a lot of black people who they want to separate. They want to segregate. They want to have black businesses. They want a black Wall Street. They want to be as far away from the dominant society as they possibly can get. They want their own police stations. They want their own schools with black teachers and everything. They want to set up a community of black people where we're not spread out and where we are taken advantage of, and they want to come together and they want to start building for their people. And they know that, and they know they cannot police or control the everyday black man and black woman who may have those ideals. And that is scary to them. It's frightening. Because they have been listening, they have heard about a lot of black people who say they really are tired of what's going on. They're tired of the ignorant people who are in control of this nation and the foolish things that they do. And that, there's black people who want to separate. Certain people's mindset where they will tell you to go back to Africa, but then they will tell somebody like me who said, segregation is not a bad thing, maybe because of the killing and the hostility and the fact that they're afraid every 5 goddamn seconds and they fear for their lives. Even if you drop a cell phone, they think it's a gun. If you pick up a book and read it, they think it's a gun. If you unwrap a piece of candy, they think it's a fucking weapon, and they're so scared. Maybe there needs to be some type of segregation where we can deal with each other and they can not be so fucking scared every 2 seconds and deal with their own. There's a segment of black people who are really trying to be around their own and build some type of economic stability. And they're afraid of that. They're fearful of that because it will make their world crumble of superiority, their ideals of IQ, and their false history of greatness. They are deathly afraid of that. It doesn't matter what she says or anybody like her says. The reparations are going to get paid. It's either going to happen the easy way, where you have black people in unison right now asking for you to do the reconciliation, to pay for the sins of your father. You have a chance to pay for the sins of your father the easy way. But it seems like that these people who are pushing back and they are saying no in unison, whether they are Democrat or Republican, they're saying no in unison, so that means they want to pay it the hard way. And the hard way is going to cost them a hell of a lot more if they would go ahead and do what they need to do now the easy way, because their time is running out to do what they need to do. They don't have much time left, since they all seem to be in unison saying no. So that means at that point, you're not going to do the right thing. So let's go ahead and get this done the hard way. But I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one.